Alrighty, this is video number 5. I just had a little bit of honey to help my voice. I had to wash my body off because my cat in the previous video snotted on me. All right, these next two slides, if you actually look at my slide set and notes, they're kind of complicated looking. All they're trying to argue for the people who take my class, that if you want to be able to exercise in sports that require carbohydrates, like aerobic stuff, running, cycling, swimming, baseball, football, soccer, you need to eat carbohydrates. And everything we know about carbohydrates is this. Those who eat the most end up storing the most. You actually train your body to store more glycogen. So if you want to go on a low carb diet, that's great, but your ability to exercise will drop off. Okay. So, I should add one more thing. The fact that you are eating as you exercise more often, you also train your body to be really efficient at using carbohydrates and using your body fat. So, elite athletes use carbohydrates in a way that's different from the rest of us. They have trained their body to just, perfectly use the amount of carbohydrate they need per minute, not any less, not any more. And then when they're done exercising, their ability to store more, ship more, is just greater than everybody else. It's just a part of the training process. And another example, low, moderate, high, those who eat the most carbs store the most and can exercise the longest. It's that simple. Okay, so how much carbohydrate should you eat? Everybody's different. There's different training techniques, by the way, about carbohydrate. One of the common terms we use in nutrition class and this class is carbohydrate loading, where you would eat lots of carbs up to a competition. You could do that the day before. You could do that 2 days before. You could do that for a week straight, every night, spaghetti, pasta, whatever, because you get a big race coming up on Saturday. Some people go low carb early in the week and then load up later in the week. The reason why you're doing this, whatever technique works for you, is you do not want to run out of carbohydrates while you're exercising. There's different terms for that. The oldest is called just hitting the wall. You're running, you're cycling, you're swimming, and then your glycogen storage goes, and you're done. You just can't make them from scratch. You can transition to making carbohydrate from protein, but that's a very slow process. You don't want to hit the wall. You don't want to bonk out. That's another term I hear. So you carbo load to prevent. Now, what kind of foods? We always like to say high carb foods, no surprises, especially within 24 hours of a competition. That doesn't mean a lot of garlic, a lot of onion, sriracha, however you pronounce it, hot sauce, gaseous foods. No, high carb foods, no surprises. Just the basic stuff: rice, pasta, bread. Without question, the day before. Maybe even more than that, maybe 2 days before, but you're not going to build up that carbohydrate storage just eating a large carb breakfast and you get like a half marathon at lunchtime. It takes longer than that. You have to give yourself some time to build up your glycogen stores. The closer you get to competition, the less complex, the more simplified your food you want it to be. So, if you're exercising at noon, you could definitely have oatmeal or like a whole wheat product. But if you're exercising an hour away, that's where you get into the Gatorade, the orange juice, a bit of a candy, something that's really easily digestible, very low fiber, no fat, no protein. Those get into the GI tract, they just create problems. If you need to eat something right now because you're going to go for a walk in an hour, frankly, saltine crackers and water is not a bad choice. There's not a lot of nutrition there, I know, but there's plenty of easily digestible carbohydrates. That's what you need. And, oh, by the way, fluid and sodium. Okay, what about during? So you have to go early. So if it's a basketball game, you're starting to sip and nibble on things in the first quarter. So it gives your body some time to break them down and to get in. LeBron James, I say this to all my classes, sips on Gatorade when there's a timeout or he's on the bench And he's not on the bench that much, as you know. Well, he is now, he's older, but for years he played like 40 out of 48 minutes. He's sipping Gatorade in the first quarter. So there's glucose available in the fourth. He's sipping Gatorade. Let me say that again. He's sipping Gatorade in the first quarter of a basketball game. So there's Gatorade available in the fourth quarter. I don't know my soccer players, but Lionel Messi, yes, right? He is consuming a lot of Gatorade or sports drinks or whatever early in the first half of a soccer match. So it's available in the second half of a soccer match, right? Go early and go light. You don't need heavy things. Those will just slow down the digestive process. We love sports drinks. Everyone's a little bit different. Most folks can probably eat and absorb about 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour. Anything more than that, like eating a lot of juices, have a lot of carbohydrate, those can cause problems, like GI tract problems. So everybody is absolutely different. Gatorade, by the way, has different varieties of Gatorade. There's Gatorade 1, 2, and 3. The 2 is the during one. It actually has the least carbohydrate. And because, you're not trying to make a big nuclear bomb of sugar on the GI tract. The old adage used to be for cycling, even if you're not thirsty, sip every 5 to 10 minutes. Get off the seat, rest your butt, and take a sip. Just a little bit of carbs coming in at regular intervals. After carbohydrates, when? As quickly as possible. There is a thing which we call the window. So if you go play basketball and you're in the car, you're driving home, within the next 15 minutes, this window opens, right? And the window is this 2 to 4 hour post-exercise event, chronological event time period, in which you break carbs, ship carbs, and store carbs the most efficient. You're eating after you exercise in the window, really not for what you just did, to bulk up with carbs and glycogen for tomorrow. That's why the window is important. You don't want to eat heavy foods immediately after you exercise because that slows down the window. So it's in the car, sipping on water, eating a banana or a Gatorade or some crackers or cookies. And then when you get home, then you think about pasta with chicken or soy or tofu, right? Use your window. Don't mess it up. Easily digestible before, easily digestible during, and easily digestible carbohydrates after. Before, during, and after. Gatorade, by the way, Gatorade 1, Gatorade 2, Gatorade 3. Gatorade 3, I believe, is called Recovery. It's the one for after. And if you look at my notes, I get some examples. Different kinds of foods that are good sources of carbohydrate. Baked potatoes, oatmeal, quinoa, instant grits, phenomenal. By the way, with Parmesan cheese, pretty good. And then here's another breakdown of things that provide carbs. Panera bread is really not a sandwich. It's just bread with a little bit of other stuff. Look at your Jamba Juice. It's loaded in carbs. Starbucks panini loaded in carbs. Panini, by the way, is a baby sandwich. It's a little mini sandwich, which cyclists would put in a little pack area under their butt back in the olden days in the Tour de France. They would be on the tour with a little panini sticking out of that little area beneath the seat. I've read that once years ago in Bicycling Magazine. Totally funny. All right, that does it for this slide set. This is a long video. I apologize. It's what it is. I think we're all going to be good. And the cat did not snot on me during this video. Take care.